We hear sweet music with the ears of the body, and we dance. To hear another kind of music, dance another kind of dance, we learn to hear with the ears of the heart. Listen, do you hear the invitation to the dance? The invitation flows from the day which has no night, from the light that does not fail. Say then, from the heart, that you are the perfect day, and in you dwells the light that does not fail. Know this to be true and dance. Good morning. Our opening words today are adapted from ancient Gnostic texts. I am Jessica Ryan, and I will be your worship leader for today's service. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Central Oregon. We are an inclusive community that affirms heart, mind, and body in our search for truth and meaning. Everyone is welcome, whatever your age, income, the color of your skin, your sexual orientation, gender identity, or your life story. You are welcome, whether you are full of joy or your heart is hurting. Your beliefs may differ from mine, but if you are called to love, you are welcome.
If you are called to love, you are welcome. We're singing this morning as our opening song, a song that the lyrics go back centuries. We're guessing about the 12th century. And for something new for our congregation, we'll be singing in Latin. The words are, I'll say them first and we'll have a slide here in a second. Ubi caritas et amor, ubi caritas Deus ibi est. So these words are, the translation is where God is, or where charity or that sort of generosity of spirit is, and where love is, that's where God will be. And regardless our theology, there's something about the highest ideal, the highest value in experience, human experience, expressed in love and this generous way of being together. So ubi caritas et amor, ubi caritas Deus ibi est. So make sure you are muted and we'll all sing together. It goes. Ubi caritas et amor, ubi caritas Deus ibi est. Sing with me. Ubi caritas et amor, ubi caritas Deus ibi est, ubi caritas et amor, ubi caritas Deus ibi est. Once more. Ubi caritas et amor, ubi caritas Deus ibi est.
Good morning. My name is Lois, and I'm here this morning for the chalice lighting. quite new to Unitarian Universalism. UUFCO is my first UU community. And I like this morning's reading because it describes or provides a window into the central ideas of UU. It is entitled To Be a Unitarian Universalist by Erica Hewitt, and she is the Unitarian Universalist Association's Minister of Worship Arts. She says that her writing was inspired by Reverend Elizabeth Wen in her book, The Unitarian Universalist Pocket Guide. To be a Unitarian Universalist means we'll never be done with the work. The work of telling the truth about oppression, the work of resisting any laws, policies, or practices that deny anyone their humanity, the work of stubbornly seeking out the spark of the divine in each other, no matter what, the work of creating heaven on earth. To be a Unitarian Universalist also means that we're not alone in the work. We're not alone because of our promises to love one another. We're not alone because we are companions on the journey. We grow ourselves into allies, helping one another get free, because none of us is truly free until we are all free. We gather around this light as we share this time together. Thank you.
Hi again. So I'm Shayla Sloper, the Congregational Life Facilitator, and I have this morning's announcements. So in the order of appearance this week, tomorrow night, Heather McNeil, one of our members, has a delightful program, Celtic Storytelling, And when she scheduled this event for the first day of summer, she did not know it was going to be one of the hottest days forecast in the next little while. So what she's decided to do, instead of having it on the patio, will be inside, cooler in the building with the sliders open. That'll be tomorrow night at 6:30. So it's an auction item. If you had already purchased it in the auction, come on down. And if you haven't and you would like to enjoy Heather's marvelous storytelling, it'll be $20 per person, and you can just pay at the door, cash or check, to UUFCO. So that's tomorrow night at 6:30. On Tuesday, between noon and 2, Nourish, our social justice initiative about food insecurity, welcomes your perishables and produce. Oftentimes, protein sources are a little more vulnerable. And so they're going to be collecting these from 12 to 2 and then bringing them to the St. Vincent de Paul distribution for those needing additional food during this time. So that's between 12 and 2. Then Tuesday night at 6 p.m., our delightful Rochelle Indra invites you to a conversation. Let's talk about play. Oh yes, this month the worship theme is play. And so this will be an opportunity to gather on Zoom and just have a conversation. It's an opportunity to have a small group experience if you haven't been in a small group during the year. So that'll be at 6 p.m. on Zoom. The link is on the website, but RSVPs are appreciated. So if you could send me an email, Chela, Chela, at uufco.org, that would be great. Oh, I forgot to say a special welcome to those who, to everyone, our guest speaker, and also those who might be visiting for the first, second time or tuning in from faraway places. We welcome you all. It's really nice to have you here. And we'll have a virtual visitor form that is in the chat, so you can let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you'd like to sign up for our weekly email, that's a good way to stay in touch as well. So a special welcome. Thanks for being with us. Okay, back to announcements. Thursday night is the Bethlehem Inn dinner. And there are still some openings available, particularly mashed potatoes and mixed vegetables. And we still need one person to bring cupcakes. Sometimes that's the most favorite thing to bring. So the sign up is in the weekly email in the ACE, and it would be great if you can help and make it a full meal for the guests at the Bethlehem Inn. Okay, now very exciting. Saturday is art on the patio. And so we have our art resources team has gathered 19 artists who are excited to both show and sell some of their art. And before, we thought we would need to have RSVPs, and because the COVID guidelines have changed, you can come on down. So that's between 10 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. We will have folks sign in just for contact tracing. Have a mask with you. We're asking that if there are children and youth present, that we wear a mask to protect them. And also, of course, for those who cannot be or have not been vaccinated, it's recommended to continue to wear a mask, but everybody should at least have a mask with us. So that's Saturday. I'm very excited about the art. Next Sunday is General Assembly Sunday. And so we'll have a link available at 10 o'clock on the website. And then there'll also be information if you want to watch the service live, which would be 9 o'clock Pacific. We'll have an option for that as well. But for those who want to minimize complication, just tune in at 10 o'clock and we'll be able to enjoy the worship service that way. If you would like to invite people into your home, we thought we might have some Zooming together experiences, both for next Sunday and then the following Sunday when Reverend Scott is speaking. We have one volunteer so far, so it may not launch, but if you're interested in trying that, there may still be some creative energy to gather in people's homes, just a small group of people. And then lastly, related to that, circle suppers. It looks like we might have 2 volunteers. Check the ACE this week if you're interested in meeting in someone's home and resuming circle suppers during the summer, that might also be happening. So that's a little bit in the balance right now. So there's a lot going on, opportunities to enjoy storytelling, art, serving food, or rather preparing food or bringing food for those that need it, lots of opportunities. And in all of this, happy summer solstice eve and blessings on your day.
Good morning, I'm Amy Brock and I serve as the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth. Today, we continue our exploration of play. One of my favorite ways to play is through movement. Sometimes movement can be structured with specific challenges or guidance, and sometimes it can be more free with just an invitation to move in whatever ways fit best for your body. Our Unitarian Universalist faith invites us to practice movement as an opportunity to sort of dance freely as individuals and together, almost like we're one body. Our principles and sources guide us in both of these practices. And today's story explores one man's experience with exploring the movement of Tai Chi as a spiritual practice. It's written by Denise Tracy. There once was a young man who grew up in China. Everyone said that he was so calm and so peaceful. In fact, they thought that he should become a monk or a spiritual teacher. Not wanting to displease his family and friends by telling them the truth, the young man let everyone think that he was indeed very peaceful and calm. However, inside, he was filled with feelings of anger and doubt and happiness and sadness, and he had a lot of questions, and his heart was also filled with love. So he just had all of the feelings going on inside of him. When he was old enough, he went to school to become a monk, and everyone was so pleased because they thought that he would be really good at that because he was super peaceful and quiet. For years, he sat calmly, meditated. His teachers were really happy with his practice. But they didn't know that behind his calm, peaceful outside, that he was feeling all of those things and wondering all those things on the inside. And after years of studying to become a monk, he had to take a test to show that he was indeed truly a peaceful person. This test had him go up to a mountain and meditate daily for many months. And at the end of these months of meditation, his teacher would observe him and then he would become a monk. When the time for the test came, he climbed the mountain, and for days he sat and sat and sat. He looked so calm and peaceful on the outside, but on the inside, his mind was still filled with so many thoughts. Thoughts of flying, fire, shadows, water, earth. And he also had a lot of questions about beginnings and endings. One day, while he was sitting peacefully, pretending to be calm, pretending that his thoughts and feelings were calm, a fly landed right on his nose. And he tried wiggling his nose to get the fly off, but that didn't work. And so then he waved his hand in front of his face, and you know what? The fly started to dance. And as he waved his hand, he noticed how joyful it felt to move. The fly landed on his nose again, and so he waved his other hand, and that too felt really wonderful after sitting for so long. Then he watched as the fly began to turn in circles and move, almost like the wind moves across the sky. And so the young monk in training leaped up and he laughed and he started to fly around with his body just like the fly was moving. And as the days passed, the young man looked forward to going up on the mountain and dancing and moving with his new fly friend. He lost all track of time when he was moving, hours, days, and minutes. And he realized that his body movements were similar to a lot of movements of the earth. They were similar to the wind. They were similar to the water. Sometimes they looked like fire, and sometimes they were more stable, like wood or metal. And on the day of his exam, he climbed to the top of the mountain, except he had forgotten that it was the day of his exam. He just saw the fly and they started to dance their dance together, moving just like the elements of the earth move. They danced with focused energy, and there was so much joy. And neither the fly or the young man noticed that their teacher was there watching them. And after a while, the teacher approached. The young man grew silent. He realized what had happened. He was embarrassed and fearful because he was supposed to have been practicing his meditation, supposed to have been practicing sitting peacefully instead of dancing. He was worried that he might have failed his training. But his teacher said, "Young man, you must teach me this movement. You use the energy of life to mirror the wind, the fire, the sky, the water, the birds, and the air. And this energy is the study of inner peace. It's balance that we need," said his teacher. "We need stillness and energy, peace and activity, meditation and movement, yin and yang." "Will you teach me this dance?" asked his teacher. "Yes," said the man. "And then will you teach all the other monks in training this way of movement?" And the young man agreed. And that is how a type of movement called Tai Chi came to be, or one story of how it might have come to be. I wonder what dances or movements you might create in your body or mind this week. And so ends our time together today.
Please join me now as we say together our children's covenant. In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I am a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved. We now open our time to share our joys and sorrows. You may be full of joy this morning, or your heart may be hurting. This is a time where we may share what is in our hearts and connect with the community gathered here today. The chat box is now open for sharing our joys and sorrows. Diane Smith Whalen has experienced a call to priesthood since she was very young. She pursued a BA in religious studies and served as a Jesuit volunteer. She married, received her MSW, and did social work for a few years before becoming a mother to 2 beautiful daughters. In 1984, Diane began companioning individuals and groups in spiritual direction and retreat work. She helped develop and staff a program for the formation and ongoing supervision of spiritual directors, as well as initiating a group spiritual direction program. She went on to receive an MA in ministry and a Doctor of Ministry in spiritual direction. She was also active in her local parish, serving as a lector, cantor, teacher and facilitator, and retreat leader. Diane was ordained to the priesthood in 2010 as a Roman Catholic woman priest. One of her greatest joys is serving Holy Wisdom Inclusive Catholic Community in Olympia, Washington, as a priest. She also enjoys singing, cooking, taking walks, and spending time with her family and friends. We warmly welcome Diane as our guest speaker today.
Thank you, Jessica, and good morning, everyone. I'm really happy and honored to be with all of you. And I'm especially moved as you shared your joys and sorrows, because we human beings can hold each other in that. Each of us has them. So many of them are unspoken, but they bring us together. They bring us together as people. They bring us together as people who are on a journey, who dance together. When my dear friend Jessica said she told Reverend Scott she had a friend who was a Roman Catholic woman priest, he was surprised. He thought she might be interested in how a woman could be ordained in a church that expressly does not permit that, and actually keeps saying over and over, in case we hadn't heard it the first many times. Well, I guess I'd say life invited me and others to a new dance of liberation. And the energy and love of the dance was so compelling, we couldn't resist. Here's just a short snippet of the history. And if you want to hear something else about this, I'll be around after this service for questions if you'd like. But here goes a little history. In 2002, 7 Roman Catholic women in Europe who had felt a call to priesthood and prepared themselves theologically, seeing that the institutional church was not going to ordain women in their lifetime, found a bishop who would ordain them illicitly. They followed the traditional ordination rituals, but changed the language to reflect the inclusivity they hoped to model. They needed to be willing to step into a role which had been forbidden to them, so people could see that women could serve as priests as well as men could, and in the process, change the world in some small way with their individual lives. Just to show you where I was at the time, in 2002, when I first heard of the ordination of these women, I thought, good for them. They believe they're priests. But 4 years later, when I heard a Roman Catholic woman priest bishop speak, I knew I needed to pursue this call myself, not knowing where I'd wind up. I just knew I was being called into a new dance. I didn't know the steps to the dance I was beginning, but I found taking one step at a time, sometimes hesitant steps, I fell into a rhythm with the other dancers, none of whom actually knew much more than I did. We were being invited to follow our hearts, follow our calls to ministry that we'd heard for most of our lives, and do what we were told was impossible as Catholic women, to become ordained as Roman Catholic priests. In this process, we were acutely aware of the women of other traditions on whose shoulders we stood, including, of course, many UU women. Here's the thing. I considered leaving Catholicism to pursue ordination in another tradition, which I know brings great life and joy to many people, perhaps even some of you. But my Catholic DNA and Catholic bones told me I needed to stay connected with my own tradition while learning a new way to dance with it. So with other women and a few good men, we're creating a renewed way to be Catholic and have been able to offer this inclusive experience of being Catholic in a community where all people are welcome to participate, no matter gender, marital status, sexual orientation, belief, lack thereof, doesn't matter. For me, staying connected to the dance I was born into, but learning new steps within it so I didn't need to sacrifice my values and integrity, has been immensely freeing. In communities led by Roman Catholic women priests, all are welcome. I know, kind of sounds like UUs, doesn't it? Yes, we hold so many of the same values. It is beautiful to read your principles. And we both serve as places of refuge for people looking for loving community. There is one way I believe our Holy Wisdom community, which actually is physically located in Olympia, Washington, one way that our Holy Wisdom community is different from most Catholic and institutional churches is in our foundational theology, our understanding of the divine. That's what I'd like to share with you today. Whatever else this mystery called God is, it is love and relationship in dynamic flow within everything. It's a great wisdom dance, a dance of transformation that infuses all creation and pulls new life out of it, calls new life, pulls new life, kicks new life sometimes. It's a dance, and it is love. In the beginning, Ruah, divine energy, blew into the emptiness like breath, and the beginnings of all that would be came into being. The dance begins with the breath, that breath that moves and gathers energy, the breath that dances, becomes life, calls forth deeper and greater life. Breath that is not only in and for itself, but in and for everyone, everything, all creation. And this everything is good, very good. So begins the creation story in the Hebrew Bible, a foundation for so much of the religious imagery of our culture. But if we're made in the breath of the divine, how did religion come to take so much of the joy out of our lives, make us feel so bad about ourselves, and replace this joy with fear? Well, that, my friends, is a pretty long and complicated story. We're not going to explore that here. But it does have something to do with the history of long-standing systems of oppression, systems that deny the goodness inherent in each and all of us. And it has to do with prioritizing right beliefs, orthodoxy, over living just and loving lives, orthopraxis. But there is an ancient way of understanding, making meaning, and dancing through life that has been kept alive within Eastern Christian traditions, as well as through mystics in Western Christianity. This dance is called theosis theology. Theosis is our gradual coming to awareness of the divine nature, the divine spark that's the core of who and what we are. We are created by love, through love, and for love. It is the belief that each of us and each part of creation is a mirror of the divine. Each of us is a precious holder of divine energy, called to manifest that dance of love and communion in the world. And it begins with our breath. And then it goes into movement. So I invite you to breathe together with me for a few moments. As we do this, if you're comfortable doing so, place your hands over your heart and press down a bit so you can feel the beating of your heart within your body. Feel the life energy coursing through you in your own heartbeat. Can you feel it? Now take one of your hands and put it on your belly. Slowly fill up your belly with air, and then even more slowly let the air out. Take your time with these breaths. Let's do it together. Can you feel life dancing within you? Allow yourself to believe this dance of breath and heart is life with a capital L. Life connected with all other life, with everyone here, with everyone you know, with everyone you've ever known. Life energy flowing into and out of you like a river, bringing refreshment and hope wherever it goes. I invite you now to imagine a pet, another animal, a tree or plant that brings you joy. It might be something you see right outside your window as I'm looking at my rose bushes. They bring me joy. Imagine the life breath moving through that precious creature, whether it's an animal, a plant, a favorite rock, a seashell, whatever it is. And now, fish, water, rocks, sun, moon, stars, planets. Feel the life that flows through you, flowing through all creation, connecting, giving and receiving life, being life. Enjoy a few breaths with this giving, receiving, and being life. And then we'll return to our being here, gathered in community. As humans, we have the gift of reflective awareness and the capacity to see the oneness we share with all. We also have the ability to choose to love and to act with justice towards all. This is what the dance of theosis asks of us. Not only to know our oneness in and with the divine, but rubber to the road, act as if we believe it, in loving and caring for all. Perhaps the most important thing to know and remember in this is each and every step we take in our dance, our individual dance, our dance together as community, either contributes to love in the world or it doesn't. Even when we think that thought or action, that step, only affects us. And this is hard. It's really hard to remember and to do. We need each other to do this. We need community. In your beautiful chalice lighting ritual, you say, we are not alone in the work. We are not alone because of our promises to love one another. And I would say, we are not alone because we are companions in the dance of life, a dance in which we are committed to each other because our breath, our heartbeats, our lives are intertwined. We are one. Whatever else this mystery we call God is, it is love and relationship in the dynamic flow within everything. May we continue to open ourselves to each other, to this oneness, to this great wisdom dance, so that all creation can be transformed by the breath of life that flows through us all. My friends, may it be so.
Our closing song today is a kind of dance that we'll do seated. This is from the Dances of Universal Peace, and it's been called, it takes a Buddhist blessing with a sort of Sufi feel and a Christian benediction. And the words are, and we'll have the words up here shortly, but the words are, may all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. And the seated dance, we'll be doing these movements. We'll start with our hands on our heart and we'll say, may all beings, and then have this like where we're blessing from, feel the love and the blessing come from your hands. May all beings be well and happy. And then our hands will come up as though our sort of like the bonds of strife. May all beings be free from strife, and just poof, let that go. May all beings be free from strife. And then the arms come around and back to the heart. May all beings return to love. As Reverend Diane was saying, you know, when she had our hands come to our heart, we're going to feel that again. And then in this prayer position, peace be with you forevermore. So let's go over those movements again. We start with our hands at our heart and thinking of all of those beings that we're connected to, that we love, that we are one life. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. So we'll just do this a cappella, and here we go. And we'll sing it a few times. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. Hands at the heart. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. Once more. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore.
Please join me now as we say our covenant together. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. If you lit a chalice in your home, please extinguish it now. We will have community coffee hour following the service today. Diane will join us for coffee hour, and she would love to connect with you, answer questions, and engage in conversation. Each week, we have the opportunity to share our resources in support of the life of this congregation and its work in the larger community. You can donate by visiting our homepage, writing a check and mailing it in, or following the directions that will appear on the screen. If you are able to give, thank you for your generosity and support. Our closing benediction is from the poet Rumi. Dance when you're broken open. Dance if you've torn the bandage off. Dance in the middle of the fighting. Dance in your blood. Dance when you're perfectly free. Something opens our wings.